Whoa, smooth intro. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Cody's Auto Diagnostics. Reason for this video is kind of a little introduction or history about myself. Corey from S&A Auto did a video a couple days ago, kind of giving his background and how he got into the automotive industry. So I wanted to do the same. Give you a little history about myself and how I became where I'm at and the struggles and everything that I went through actually. So let's take it back to the beginning. So I was conceived in the bed of a 72 Chevy back in, wait, that's probably a little too far back. We'll fast forward a little bit. So all growing up, I was a Legos kid. Loved working with my hands, loved taking things apart, figuring out how things worked, right? So that was always my passion. School growing up, super difficult for me. It was hard to pay attention. If I didn't like the material, whatever we were learning, just went in one ear and out the other. So school was rough. Whoa. Then as I got older and started liking girls, school was even that much harder. So I was lucky to graduate high school. I mean, I squeaked by. Didn't know what kind of future I was gonna have. I didn't want to go to 4 more years of college. To be paying for school and to already be struggling as much as I was, it just didn't sound enjoyable at all. So I applied to UTI. I was accepted to go to UTI after my senior year. After I graduated, I immediately moved out of my parents' house. Figured, I'm a big boy now, I need to do this on my own. And doing that, there was no way for me to financially be able to go to UTI and work a job. It wasn't the right timing in my life. I would have been paying for $30,000, however much UTI is, I would have been paying for that. And I don't think I would have gotten everything I could have got out of it. So I decided to not go to UTI. I ended up getting a job a couple months after not going to UTI. I ended up getting a job at a service station. So it was an automotive service station, a little 4-bay shop. They had full service there as far as pumping gas and everything. So I got hired on as the general service tech or whatever, doing oil changes, busting tires, cleaning the shop. My hours were from 2 o'clock to 10 p.m. Man, and I started to love it. I started to work with my hands more. Man, I fell in love. Shortly after that, I was moved into the management part of it. So again, now I'm dealing with the customers and I'm writing work orders and I'm giving out the work to the techs. And as much as I enjoyed it, I didn't enjoy it as much as the actual physical working with my hands. I started not working on cars as much or doing the oil changes and everything. So that was the direction I wanted to go. And with the company that I was at, with the little mom and pop shop that I was working at, they have an amazing reputation. They have amazing techs. The owner of the company doesn't hire anybody unless they are grade A top sirloin techs. I mean, they are just the cream of the crop, right? And he doesn't promote within, as far as I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I was as high as I could go in that company, I guess is what I'm trying to say. There was no way for me to become a technician because I had so much competition that was out there. So I ended up getting a job at a Lexus dealership, being an apprentice. And so I was working at Lexus during the week, Monday through Friday, and I was still working at the gas station on the weekend. So I was working 7 days a week for about a year and a half. And so that went on, like I said, for about a year and a half. I ended up quitting the gas station because working 7 days a week just sucked. So 6 months after I started at Lexus, at the dealership, I became a technician. Well, man, I was a new car technician. Anybody that works at a dealership knows that you're pulling plastics, you're doing PDIs, you think you're a tech and you think you can do stuff. Dealership world is just so different, right? And I thought I was good, but working at the dealership, it's so repetitive. It's doing the same thing over and over and over that, yeah, you get comfortable, but I also saw these other dealership techs just one-tracked mind. If it's not a Toyota or a Lexus, they're looking at it like it's a damn spaceship, right? They're just lost. And I started realizing, it's like, man, that's not the tech I want to be. I want to be able to work on this Honda over here. I want to be able to work on, this BMW. I want to be more diverse in what I know about cars. And granted, I have no formal training, no UTI experience, or no, well, hold on. I have no vocational school training. All my training has come after the fact. Okay, so I'll get to that here in a minute. So like I said, I wanted to move on from the dealership life. I felt like I was just spinning my wheels. So I ended up leaving there to go to another little shop. This little shop was a 2-bay shop. It was just me and the owner that worked there. And it was a good little shop until the work dried up. Once the work dried up, he couldn't afford to pay me anymore. So I moved on. So I moved to this company that I am currently employed for. I'm not gonna mention any names right now, but I've been with this company for 13 years. Came into this company thinking, yeah, I know my stuff. I was a good dealership tech, and I know my stuff for being 22, 23 years old. I thought I did. So I started working with these guys, and man, these guys are amazing, right? They are just amazing. Obviously all flat rate, but they're just banging out, 15 to 20 hours a day. They can work on the Chevy S10 over here. They can do this over here. They can do that. And they just knew all these different systems. And that's what I wanted to be. So, man, I was green, super green. And I paid my dues. I mean, I seriously paid my dues. But they saw that I was willing to learn, so they took me under their wing. And that was probably the best thing that's ever happened to me. I didn't go in there guns blazing, thinking I knew everything, and because I didn't. I was humbled being around these guys, and the fact that they took me in and willing to show me and educate me, because I had the willing to want to learn, to want to get better. So working for this company, there's trainings here in Tucson, sometimes 3 or 4 a month, sometimes every couple months, but they pay for the training. So man, I just started going to every single training I could. I didn't care if it was 3-4 nights a week. Boom, 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 boom. I'm as much education as I could go to. And I'm going to some of these classes that are like advanced drivability that I was lucky to turn on a scan tool at that time. I didn't know fuel trims. I just didn't know anything. But going to those classes, I felt that it was way over my head, but I started picking up little by little by little by little, to now when I go to the classes, it makes sense. And I just understand it. And, I enjoy wanting to learn, and there's so much knowledge and everything out there, from YouTube to, every day you can continue to learn, which we didn't have this years ago when I was growing up. It is, you can really make something from yourself if you put the time and the effort in, I guess is my point, and that's exactly what Corey was saying at SNA Auto. I didn't come into this industry expecting to make 6 figures. I came into it because it was a job. So started buying my tools and everything else, and I was hanging brakes and struts and all the stuff that doesn't really excite me. So I ended up moving to a different location, same company, different location, was there for a little bit. And there was 4 other drivability guys. I wasn't one at the time. And slowly they started leaving until finally the last one left. I was like, I don't want them bringing another drivability guy in here. I want to be that guy. So bought the scan tools, bought the equipment and everything, and started trying to make a name for myself and just pushing as much as I could, and just continuing to learn. And so just kept doing that for years and years and years. I've been there 13 years now, but I started out from the ground, from the bottom up, and I just had that drive to keep pushing me. So I guess the point of the story is, this is a very lucrative business, or it can be a business, an industry just to get you by. If you want to make $30,000, $40,000 a year doing brakes and struts, yeah, you can do that without much effort. If you want to make more than that, if you want to get into 6 figures and everything else, you can do that, but you're not going to be the guy doing struts, doing brakes. That's not the guy that's going to be making 100 grand. At least not here in Tucson. I'm sure people can argue that. I'm saying a lot. Anyway, I hate being in front of the camera. But I mean, that's the long of the short. I mean, it's when I got out of high school, I was heading down the wrong path and hanging out with, I shouldn't say hanging out. I was doing things that mom and dad wouldn't like. And I was heading in a direction that it wasn't good. I found the automotive industry, man, it's completely changed my life around. And if it wasn't for that, I don't know where I'd be. I have a high school education, never thought I would be making the money that I am in an industry that, man, I love. I absolutely love it. The technology, how it's always changing. It's hard to stay on top of everything, but that's what's so fun about it. It is awesome too at the same time. Like, I absolutely love it. Now getting into, last couple of years, getting into the lab scopes and everything. Again, boom, it's just like mind blown. It is just so cool. So cool, And what's awesome about it, there's so many other guys that are out there that want to help other people. You got Mario at Super Mario Diagnostics. You got Corey, SNA Auto, Keith, New Level Auto. I mean, the list goes on. PJ Walker. I mean, there's so much out there that other technicians are trying to help. They're just trying to help other guys. And that's an industry of that's like brotherhood, if you ask me. I mean, that's like being firefighters and in a different way, but it's still there, man. I mean, it is pretty cool, So long of the short, you want to get into the automotive industry, it's going to take money up front. You're going to have tools. You're going to have to be willing to invest, not just into tools, but to invest in yourself. That's probably the biggest thing. You get out of trade school, if you decide to go to a trade school, and I'm not sitting here saying don't go to the trade schools. I personally didn't, and I ended up okay, but man, I pushed myself for years and years and years, and I continue to push myself. You get out of that trade school and you think that class is over. Class isn't over. That's not gonna be the last automotive class you go to. There's gonna be hundreds more after that if you want to continue to progress in this industry. Or if you want to be the guy that doesn't go to the trade school and take advantage of Vision and all these other training programs that are out there, there's absolutely that too. But you need to buckle down and pay attention. So yeah, I mean, thing is, it's a great industry. There can be some great money in this industry. For me personally, it It just makes sense. I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for the automotive industry. And I don't know where I'd be if I wasn't a part of such awesome guys that took me under the wing to show me the ropes. I mean, I paid my dues. Like, if anybody knows the hazing for new techs, or at least back in the day, it's kind of gotten away from that a little bit now, but man, back in the day, it was pretty rough. But once those old timers saw that, you know what, I wasn't going anywhere, they started respecting me a whole lot more. I didn't come in there saying, hey, I'm gonna make 100 grand this year, or acting like I knew everything. I came in there wanting to learn. And that's where I'm at. I probably rambled on a little bit too much, but it is what it is. I'm not even gonna edit this video. I'm just gonna put it up, post it. But like I said, follow these guys on YouTube. I mean, there is just some super intelligent guys that are sharing what they know with the public. I mean, yes, I say public, but it should mainly be for technicians. I mean, the DIYer is not gonna have all this fancy equipment and everything. They can, but if you're putting that much money into it, I doubt you're doing it just for a hobby. I mean, you're doing it to make some kind of money. And that's where it's at. And I don't know how much farther I want to take it, but know a little bit about me, and it is what it is. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Later.